We want to turn now to NBC's Kasie Hunt. She covers Congress for us at NBC. Kasie, so the divisions in Congress, as you witness, are already so deep, and now you have what is really just a potentially combustible moment there. What happens now?
Peter, good morning. It is almost impossible to overstate just what a cataclysmic moment this could be for the U.S. Senate. They are already incredibly divided over President Trump. Senate Republicans have been under enormous pressure, as many of them are facing re-election, many of them facing pressure to potentially divide themselves from President Trump. They've refused to do that and come under intense criticism. So to have a battle like this one, Supreme Court nominations are always incredibly contentious, but just 40-something days ahead of an election, we are reaching new territory. Now, one question we're asking our sources and what we're starting to hear is that Mitch McConnell, the majority leader, might actually wait until after Election Day to hold a final vote. Now, there are some who would say, well, isn't that what Ruth Bader Ginsburg wanted? She asked for a new president to be installed before her successor was chosen. So why would McConnell wait until after the election? Don't forget that he's trying to keep the Senate in Republican hands. That's another key question that's going to be at stake when voters go to the polls on Election Day. If this continues to be an issue that voters are focused on because the question hasn't been answered yet, that could potentially really energize especially religious voters, perhaps people who weren't comfortable with President Trump but have been lifelong Republicans and really focus on the Supreme Court as their voting issue. That could really help Republicans hang on to the Supreme Court. So I think everyone should keep that in mind as they watch how he makes these decisions and how this plays out. But we cannot overstate how angry Democrats already are because of the treatment of Merrick Garland. This is really, again, potentially a cataclysmic moment for the Senate here, Peter.
Yeah, and you can see a lot of lawmakers held to account for some of their past comments on this very issue. Kasie Hunt, we thank you very much.
And we now want to turn to Chuck Todd, who is NBC's political director and moderator of Meet the Press. Chuck, good morning. Good to see you. We so appreciate your joining us on such a monumental morning. And let's pick up where Kasie left off, which is the politics of this. This now puts the issue of the Supreme Court squarely at the center of an already contentious election cycle. So what does it mean for the election, and which voters will it energize, Chuck?
Well, look, think about where we are in this situation. President Trump is behind. Senate Republicans are behind. They've been desperate to try to change the trajectory of this campaign. So there is no doubt in my mind that this is essentially you're going to see at least the party leadership, McConnell and Trump, believe, get everybody behind this idea, behind a pick. What I think I'm guessing that the president is going to end up doing Amy Coney Barrett. It's somebody that he already, a very conservative judge, lives in Indiana, somebody who I think they believe will fire up, particularly she's Catholic. The president would like to improve his standing with Catholics, particularly in the upper Midwestern states. So, look, I think the entire Republican Party is going to get behind this strategy because they believe, and I believe, Donald Trump was elected president because of the Supreme Court opening. Had there not been a Supreme Court opening, I'm not convinced Donald Trump ever wins a first term, let alone here fights for a second. However, Kristen, I think the left is so fired up to a point that I think the right ought to be careful here that this doesn't boomerang. I think if the president and Senate Republicans decide to ignore the virus, ignore the economy. I mean, check out how the United States Senate's running now. They can't negotiate for a relief bill, but boy, they can move things quickly to do a confirmation hearing. I just think this is very tricky politics here for Republicans. I really do. And I think they ought to be careful it doesn't boomerang on them.
Yeah, I think you raise an important point, Chuck. How will this impact the Democratic base? All right, Chuck Todd, thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate it. And we will look for much more on the passing of Ruth Bader Ginsburg tomorrow on Meet the Press. And we'll have more throughout the morning.